show you how to operate the tractor itself. Starting from left to right, you've got the fuel cutoff switch. To turn off the tractor, even if you turn the key off, the tractor will keep dieseling. So you have to pull that back. That will kill the tractor. Pro tip, before you get back in the tractor or get out of it, pop that forward because you'll break that if you bump into it. Next up, you've got the shuttle shift. Another tip is also to leave it in reverse when you get in and out of the tractor, otherwise you'll struggle. You got reverse, neutral, and forward. You have to use your clutch to operate the shuttle shift. Next up is the PTO shaft speed controller. You almost never will use this because all of our implements run at 540 RPM and very few implements run at 720. None of ours are rated for 720. That's pretty much it for this side. If you come around to this side of the tractor, you have your H pattern gearbox, just like a manual car. You've got your front end loader controls here, up, down, tilt, open and close. Over here, you've got your hand throttle. There is also a foot throttle there, like a car. The hand throttle is used for either when you're idling and you're using, let's say, something like the post hole digger or the backhoe, and you need to drive about 12 to 1500 RPM on the rev counter. Next up, you've got your PTO. On other tractors, we call it the sub clutch. On this, it is purely just the PTO operation lever. In the off position, you will not be creating any drive to the PTO. In the on position, which it currently is in, you'll just be spinning the PTO. Next up, right down here is your diff lock. You have, naturally it's in the off position, but if you're really in a rut, you push that forward, it'll lock itself with the diff, and when you get out of the rut, it'll pop itself back out. Now we have we're pretty proud of this feature. We have the up and down on the 3-point linkage, but the feature that sets us apart is the float. So let's say if you have a slasher on and you're following the contours of the ground, instead of missing low spots and just skull dragging through high spots, you just pull this 3-point linkage control back and then you pull it all the way back. That engages float, so you'll just be following the contours of the ground. Lastly, you've got your low and high speed box. You got the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise is obviously your low gears and your hare is your high gears. If you are going to operate four-wheel drive, which I'll show you next, you have to be in the low box. Over here is your four-wheel drive selector. It naturally is in the down position. When you really get in a rut, you want to pull that up. Now, sometimes you may find that won't come up fully. That is because the tractor is not a synchro mesh tractor. What you'll have to do is sometimes just roll the tractor forward and reverse a little bit, just so that the cogs line up in the gearbox, and then give it another tug on that four-wheel drive selector. So as mentioned, this one here is your main 3-point linkage control. That is up, that's neutral, that is down. Locked back is your float. Now these two here, we don't normally use them. The only implements that will operate them are the likes of flail mowers or verge mowers that use the auxiliary hydraulic outputs on the rear of the tractor for side shift, tilt shift, and whatever else. With regards to adjusting free play on this tractor, it's nice and simple. It's just that little turnbuckle there. You undo that nut, screw in the rod accordingly, just to make sure there is some slack in the clutch at all times. There, as you can see there, that's also a safety switch for the tractor so that it will not start unless the clutch is disengaged. Now that we've covered operation of everything forward of here, we're now going to cover how to use the 3-point linkage. Over here, you've got your drawbar, which you will have to remove before using the 3-point linkage for the first time. These here are your bottom 3-point linkage arms with the quick hitch and the quick hitch balls. This is your top linkage arm with an adjustable turnbuckle. Now, to remove the drawbar, it's very simple. You've just got 2 pins holding it in place. You just have to remove these 2 linch pins and pull said pins out. On the PTO itself is a plastic cover it's threaded, so don't just try to pull it off. It is threaded. You will get that off if you give it a few turns, just like that.